Well, it's a good morning. It is a good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. So we are going to be discussing kind of like a uh, maybe a preview of what to expect going forward. We're 2 weeks away from the ICT live sessions that will be conducted on my YouTube channel, and I kind of like want to build in the proper expectation, also ringing in how you, as a viewer or listener or new student, would take in this information to build a model, how you should properly build a trading model, and how to avoid the pitfalls that most traders, and like myself when I first started years ago, how can you avoid those types of things and put the most positive forward momentum in your development and your learning, and try to avoid all the things that are going to be pitfalls and snares. It doesn't mean that even with my guidance that you won't have periods of confusion, doubts, misunderstandings, or doing it wrong. But that's part of growth. And I want all of you to understand that this entire year is going to be filled with a mix of emotions for you. Right now, you're excited, okay? And that's understandable. And I'm excited for you. I'm excited. I can't wait to really get started. But I just retweeted one of the people that follow me, one of the followers, said, doesn't seem I'm too enthusiastic about doing the mentorship. I've been mentoring since the 2nd of January, nonstop. So you're looking for the live sessions. They'll begin February 7th, 2023. And you'll be able to see the charts and not just see tweets me talking about specific things. So the title of this is your blueprint to successful trading. And if you're new, you actually have a unique perspective. That means you have not been tainted with all the things that this industry unfortunately pushes on students, turns them into gamblers most times. And then when they fail, they walk away from the industry thinking that no one's able to do this consistently. And it's unfortunate. But consider your successful trading, your successful endeavor as a trader, much like a home, okay, a new home purchase. And when you're sitting down with someone, maybe you're going to a home builder, and before I moved into the home I'm in now, my wife and I considered going to a builder and having them draw up plans for us and do lots of things. But unfortunately, like you all listening, all around the world, the supply chain has been a major factor in costs. So I went with a existing home. My wife fell in love with it, and it is what it is. I'm happy with it. There's some things I wish it had, but your system is going to always have those things too, even when it's profitable, even when it's a beautiful piece of financial real estate in your life that can generate income. You're always going to have these things that you wish it could just have this amenity, this addition, or if it had this type of feature, it could do a better way of exiting. Like for me, my trading, one could argue it's consistent, yes. Sometimes it's highly precise, yes. But my wish about my own system, my own model, is I wish my exits were better. And you're going to have that same thing throughout the year. You're going to wish that you knew more, and the things that you learn, you're going to wish you learned sooner. But why waste your time with that? That's what I had to do with my wife. I wanted the master bedroom in the home I'm in now to be larger. I compromised, and she wanted the home, so I bought it. But that's one of the things in this home I wish it was better. So that's human nature for us. We're always going to want something better. The grass is always going to look greener, on the other side of the fence. So I want you to make sure that you're aware of that going through this year under my tutelage, because there's going to be times where I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to sit still, maybe on a live stream, have no real clear indication of what I would do as a trader, and take that as, well, that's your invitation to be still, to do nothing because you don't want to take risks blindly. Just like going and trusting a builder. You don't go to a builder and say, build me a home that I'm going to like. Okay. That's what most of my students that have never met me or ever worked in the marketplace at all, they'll come to me with the expectation. They'll say, I heard you're good. Tell me how to trade. Give me a system that works. And I don't want to lose money. I want it easy. And I want you to teach it to me quick. Right away, I want those types of people to go somewhere else because I already know from history that I can't fix that. So if you are like that right now, this is one of those invitations to get yourself properly aligned with my style of teaching. And I'm okay with it not being conducive for you to learn from me. There's other ways to trade. It isn't just my way of making money. But if you're wanting to learn how I can time these things precisely, and you've seen illustrations of that with executions and such, and you see my students doing it and you see them making money, don't come with unrealistic expectations. Just like going to a builder and saying, build me a house I'm going to love. What are they going to do? They're going to say, well, can you sit down with me and give me some features that you're looking for? You know, what type of house do you want? You want a rancher? You want craftsman, something Victorian? We settled on a colonial. So our home is a colonial. Your trading system, it needs to have a structure. It needs to have something that you know is the reason why you're going into this and then potentially incurring risk. Because if you do this with a funded account or your own money, you are incurring risk. And that risk can be damaging. You can lose more than you have. And it needs to be made aware right from Jump Street. Right when you first begin, you need to know that you're embarking on an endeavor that will absolutely cost you money. You're going to lose money. It's going to be a transaction, whether it be by me inspiring the idea or you taking it indirectly from your own opinion. There's no guarantee of those things being profitable. And you will incur a losing trade. And that losing trade will force you to wrestle with the idea that is the model you're trying to implement profitable at all? Is that house worth living in? So you have to know what you're looking for before you even start this. And blindly following my commentary over a live chart or in a Twitter post, it's foolish. And some of you are posting your winning trades based on the things I'm saying in those tweets. I don't want you doing that. You're placing undue stress on me as the mentor because I'm not trying to teach you to follow copycat me. I'm teaching you how to read a tape and you're cheating yourself. So I'm today sitting down like the builder. I'm the architect. You came to me, you're in this space listening, and you're probably listening to a video that someone else uploaded on YouTube because I don't want these on my own channel. And you can get them to bother with making sure that the subtitles are correct. And why don't I put them on my channel? Because sometimes I go ratchet ICT, and I don't believe I'm going to be there today, but sometimes I go off the rails, and I don't want that on my channel. So I use Twitter for that medium. But I think we'll be pretty much focused today on what it is that you should be gleaning in terms of a blueprint for trading. But as the architect, and you come to me wanting a high performance trading methodology, a way to go in and time the market with precision, go in and take surgical strikes, get in, get out. I can present that to you. I can present it to you in a multifaceted presentation. I can also strip it down to its chrome like today. How can you make money? We're going to talk about that. What little do you need? We're going to talk about that. What things aren't important? They will be the things that are not mentioned in this presentation today. It's not to diminish them. It's not to say that those things aren't helpful, that they won't build up the results. I'm just saying for someone that's new or to build the proper expectation of where we're going this year, how to start. I'm going to present these live sessions in a manner that if you're new to me and you don't have the time or not inspired to watch every video on my YouTube channel. I'm going to take you as the person that came to me like when I was in the 90s. When someone came to me and said, hey, can you sit down with me and train me how to do this? They had 1 week with me. But prior to that week, I gave them 3 months of things to look for. Show me in the charts the types of moves that you're inspired by. So I let them pick the structure of their home. Sometimes they wanted things that were outside my personal preference, which is long-term trading. I don't have the appetite to do that because my mind changes constantly. So that's why I do well as an intraday trader, because I can adapt to that. You may be a little bit more lethargic, and it takes a lot more for you to change your mind about something, and you're more prone to be successful in long-term venture like position or swing trading. All of my concepts work in that. All of my concepts work in Forex. Obviously, you've seen many of that. Futures, commodities, and stocks. So it's wide ranging in terms of what you can utilize it with. I just don't personally say anything about crypto because I've never traded crypto, but people obviously that learn from me report that they do well with it. I can't co-sign that because I don't know very much about it. So I try to avoid it. But you come to me and you want a system, you want a methodology, and you have the burden of deciding what you should be doing because your personality is going to dictate that. I can't make you, as much as I show example after example, I can't make you grow comfortable with intraday trading if it's completely against who you are as a person. If it's too fast paced, and it is for some of you, and some of you are going to try to wrestle that and try to overcome that, when the real focus point should be learning how to read price action on the lower time frame examples in the lectures I'm going to give you, and just simply take that same mindset and apply it to a higher time frame chart, because it's the same thing. The same elements of what I'm going to show you in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 minute charts. The lowest time frames that technical analysis and in this industry would scoff at and say it's noise, I'm going to demystify all that. I'm going to show you how to read all that real time, and you're going to grow more comfortable with trusting your positions once you know what you're looking for, and how to just relax and let the market do what it's designed to do. So that way you're not wrestling internally thinking, I don't know what the next few candles are going to do and I'm scared. Versus, this is what it should do, and I want to sit here and watch, and does it continuously give me the feedback I'm looking for to trust the outcome to be favorable for me? There's a total different perspective. There's a paradigm shift that takes place, and it's only going to be seen and observed over the chart. See, I'm giving you a test drive with the tweets because that's one way of also showing that it's not delayed in data. It's not cherry picked. Well, I guess it is cherry picking, isn't it? You know, I'm picking the winners, right? But you're going to learn this year how to do this independent from me. But you're going to have to show up, and you're going to have to decide what house you're going to live in as a trader. What's the style? What's the structure? Are you going to be a day trader? Okay. Are you going to day trade the full daily range? Is that going to be your model? Trying to get near the low on a bullish day and hold for a majority of the daily range? Or are you going to break that up into 2 sessions and say, okay, my work schedule, my life commitments, my sleep schedule dictates that I can't trade the New York session, Michael. So what should I do in that essence? Well, I think that you should probably trade London. There's moves that take place overnight between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning. There's setups just like when I teach in Forex. Just because I'm not hammering that in the 2022 content and thus far this year, don't think for a moment that you cannot trade the same London kill zone that I teach with Forex. That same thing exists in futures. Overnight session is overnight session. When those individuals over in London, in Europe, when they wake up, the market's not trading because it hasn't happened here in the U.S. because we're still sleeping. Maybe no, it's working. It's rolling. It just means that when I'm teaching you the New York session, we have the benefit the advantage, and plus I'm really liking the fact that I don't have to stay up at night. I'm getting old, so the whole point is you want to have every advantage in your favor, and New York session has that because you have already the hardest part of the day behind you, which is in Europe and London. What they do overnight that establishes a lot of things, and we'll talk about that. I'll talk about it a little bit more in this presentation as well. But don't think for a moment that I'm trapping you and painting you into a corner that you can only trade during the New York session. You don't have just that limitation. You can trade in the afternoon session between 1:30 and 4 o'clock. You can strip it down even further if you're an intraday trader and you're comfortable with making these types of ideas and opinions and studying the charts with that mindset. You can strip it down to the last hour of trading, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and that's your entire career. Just a handful of them, or maybe even one per week. I have housewives all over the United States that are students of mine now. And they have reported, obviously, staying home moms, they get ridiculed a lot, from men. They say, oh, well, you don't do anything, woman. You're just going to tell the kids what they got to do, mind the home. When I come home, make sure my dinner's on the table, clean the house, and everything will be fine. Like they don't have a responsibility. Like they don't have things demanding their attention. It's not like it used to be where women can just sit around and watch soap operas. The world is constantly moving. And to run a home today with children demands a lot of energy, a lot of time. And they still, just because they're home and you're the breadwinner, gentlemen, you're out there collecting the money. Don't think for a second if they're doing what they're doing as a student here learning, that they have all the advantages of extra time, because they don't. Children have to be maintained. The home has to be maintained. They have their own personal things that they want to do, as they should. So everybody's competing with time and how to make this fit in their personal lives. And you need to find that. You have to pick the structure of your home as a trader because you're going to live in it. I am around homes that some of them are actually way larger than the home I'm in now. Some of them are actually much nicer than the home I'm living in right now. And I don't mind it. I don't look at their home, just like you shouldn't look at someone else's trading pattern or model or results and say, I wish I slept in that room of that house. I wish I could park my car in that garage. I wish I could drive that car that he has in his garage. See, by doing all those things, that shows discomfort in what you're doing. I never look at someone else online, whether it be their results, whether they're doing some live streaming, or whether they have won a competition, whether they've done really well on a leaderboard, whether they've done statements, or I've never looked at someone else and said, wow, I feel like I'm not significant enough. And you shouldn't do that either. Because what that's indicating is, number one, it's a character flaw. And many of you are going to bring that into this trading endeavor. And it's going to cause you to not want to stay with the things I'm going to show you that will lead to consistency and continuity and eventual profitability if you submit to it. But if you quit, or if you are distracted easily by, this is something that's going on over here, so this person did something that may or may not be valid as the reason why the market went higher or lower. But because they've taken a transaction, they've put on risk, and they show the champion trophy of their win. You don't know how many trades they've taken before that one. You don't know if they've been correct, but that's the one you're going to see, and you're going to be convinced that that's enough of a distraction to stop what you're doing here and go chase that. And I have lots of students have done that over the years, even when I was teaching on America Online back in the 90s. So you have to wrestle and guard your mind. If you're here, commit to the full year. Don't come in casually and think, well, it didn't really teach me how to make money, in the first 3 sessions, and I'm just going to pack it in. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for you. You didn't put the work in. So that's why you don't have a excuse if you are going to come in on a part-time basis here. You have to be 100% committed. I'm going to give you my full year. What are you going to bring to the table? Are you committed? Are you going to, really put conviction behind the things that you're doing while you're training with me this year? Because if you don't, you're not going to get the results you're looking for. And you won't hit the mark that I'm guaranteeing you by the end of this year. You will be able to read price better than anybody else is going to be able to teach you. That is not me saying that you're getting rich. That's not me saying that you're going to make money every single day. I am promising you that there is nobody out there teaching. Zero. Absolutely zero. There's no one teaching you what I'm going to teach you this year. You're going to see it. You're going to test drive it. You're going to be built up in your confidence, but not to be overconfident, not to be arrogant. I don't want you as my community, as my student base, to go around with pitchforks and torches and tormenting other people because you are learning something that is different. Obviously, it's trailblazing, but it's the real market. And it's empowering, yes, but I'm not empowering you to be trolls. So also be respectful of other people, because a lot of other people out there are making money and they're not doing anything that I'm teaching. They've mastered themselves. They're comfortable in the house they live in. That's the house they built for trading. They don't care what their neighbors are sleeping in and driving and how they park their cars in their garage. They have something that they're comfortable with. They're not trying to keep up with the Huddlestons. The expression is trying to keep up with the Joneses. There's a lot of people out there. They know me, but they're not influenced by me. They care less what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. If I make money, if I don't make money. They're making money. They're minding their business. I have a lot of respect for those types of people. When I see that, I push them, I promote them, because they're proving to the industry that they're profitable. They sit out there, they do it in front of people, and they're respectful. They have nothing really to say bad about anyone, and they're having a good time. And that's what I tried to do the other day with Patrick. And unfortunately, some of you, may or may not. I'm not convinced that all of you are students that were doing that, but you don't want to distract yourself. So keep the focus on what it is that I'm teaching, and that way your mindset is not being drugged to a different direction. So much like a home, when you sit down with an architect, the architect will say, hey, what type of things do you want in your home? Or what type of things do you want in your trading? Do you want to be able to pyramid positions? Or do you want to just do one and done? Get in and they maybe take partials along the way. Okay, that's an amenity. You're asking me to show you how we can build your house in trading that you're aesthetically pleased looking at it outwardly. I want to be a day trader, Michael. Okay, let's sit down and let's work it out. How do you want to trade? What's your model going to be? You have to bring that to me. You have to put that to paper. You can't let me or anyone else dictate how you're going to trade, because I and no one else can take you and press you into satisfaction about being in a home or a model of trading that you really don't like. If you're not comfortable in it, it doesn't matter how many other people are trading it, making money. If you can't be comfortable in it and live in it, then it's useless to you. And if it's a source of agitation and frustration because it's not really what you wanted, you won't pour everything into it. Like when you have a home that you love, you'll pour more money into it. You'll invest in a new paint job, keeping up with maybe a new carpet every couple of years. And if the wallet allows for it, maybe an addition, a swimming pool, something else. All those things are factors that come with you being satisfied with what you're putting your work behind. You love the home you're in. That's what you have to be as a trader. You have to love the home that you're in as a trader. You're not influenced. You're not going to be influenced or feeling like you don't have enough. You got to be the king of your castle. Mind your own business and be the king of your own castle. But what castle are you going to live in as a trader? You have to know what those things are. And unfortunately, it's a source of frustration for new students and new traders because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know where your strengths are, and you don't know where your weaknesses are. That's what makes this industry hard, because 90% of this is you wrestling with yourself, because the charts are going to go up or they're going to go down. And if they're not doing either one of them, they're going sideways. And that's a simple thing to measure probabilities. Is it likely to go higher or lower? Or based on the economic calendar, when's it likely not to do much at all and go sideways? So you have three decisions there. But those three decisions are going to push you, if you have a weak minded perspective on risk, it's going to make you impulsive, and you're going to chase moves and do things that are going to be outside of a model. So you have to know what you're asking of me as a mentor and what you're placing demands on yourself to follow. I've had so many students over the years come to me and say, Michael, I want to be a scalper. Okay. Why? And they can't tell me. Because I want to make money fast. And I'm afraid to lose money. So I know getting in and getting out, I have less risk of losing that way. No, you don't. That's not true. Okay. If you think that it's less risk day trading than any other style trading, that is too myopic of a view. You must, absolutely must understand and accept the fact that as soon as you enter the marketplace, as soon as you enter that market, whatever market it is, based on whatever time frame, whatever methodology, whether it be mine or someone else's, you have relinquished control over your finances to the outcome that you have no control over. Think about that, because I have continuously harped on that. And a lot of you tend to have selective hearing, and you don't want to hear that. You think there's a secret advantage, and there's an order block, there's a fair value gap that's going to help me, minimize that type of thing. No, risk is always there, always. And you have to be comfortable with that uncertainty, because it will visit you. Drawdown will come home and visit you. And how long you let it stay in your home is up to you. How much time being uncomfortable are you willing to absorb? That's also a factor when building a model. Because if you're going to be a long-term position trader, for folks that are listening, when you have periods of drawdown, you have to be comfortable living in that for a longer time, because long-term position trades, they don't happen every day. They don't happen every week. So that's another advantage to me, because I would not be comfortable holding a period of drawdown for weeks and months. I can't tolerate that. It's an intolerable experience for me. I can't personally endure that. That doesn't mean that you couldn't, but that's a factor that unfortunately most books and teachers don't really address, and they're paramount for someone that's just becoming interested in doing this. Because first of all, you need to be commended, because number one, you don't have all your marbles if you want to do this anyway. You're not on the list of folks that have reasonable risk tolerance. You're willing to assume more risk, even though you don't want to lose. You're willing to face that. But unfortunately, the first time you get out there and you lose, that tells you who you really are. And that many times separates you from this industry. And if it happens to you, unfortunate as a trader, yes, but fortunate that you have learned your lesson early and you don't pour yourself into it and lose more money when you know it may not be something that you can do. And there's no shame in that. There's people out there that can help you if you can't execute. There's people that can manage your funds for you, but you have to be demanding of them. Show proof. How are you going to risk? How do you manage risk? But I'm pouring everything into this year, and you have to show up every day. And I will build your house with you, but you have to bring those expectations that are reasonable to me. You can't expect a mansion from a rancher. You can't expect, Ferrari performance with a Ford Pinto. And unfortunately, that's many times what happens when I have brand new, never been in the marketplace, never experienced it at all. They come to me and they think, okay, well, you're supposed to be the professional, so therefore give me a system that never loses, that never has drawdown, and I'm always going to be right, and I'm not going to be tricked into doing something and manipulated and have my stop loss hit. I'm not that guy. I'm looking for him too. I'm out there looking for them. They don't exist, folks. I mean, you're going to have to be comfortable with uncertainty. You need to embrace that. That's what trading is. This lifestyle, because that's what this is. I don't call it a career. I call it a lifestyle. You have to embrace that. And it's fun. It's fun. It's like treasure hunting. And if you sit down in front of these charts and you don't feel that passion about like being on a treasure hunt, like you have the potential to do something extremely difficult. But if you follow the rules of a well-sounded and formulated approach that manages impeccably the risks, this is really fun. It's really fun. And the outcome could potentially change your whole entire life in both senses of the term. It could be good or bad, but the potential is there. So in the home that you're making for your trading, there's different rooms. There's certain rooms that you use for certain things. In my trading, if you were to use an analogy I've been using this morning, my home has several rooms. I have the great room, which would be considered like the main entertainment room. Then I have sleeping areas, and I have the downstairs where I have a home theater and other things that I use, and I have a workout area and I have storage areas. Each one has its own main function. To get to those areas in that home, there's doorways. That's what a PD array is. You may not use certain rooms in the house, like I've had many times in homes that I barely enter into any of the certain rooms. I just don't have a reason to be in there, so they get used very little, infrequently. You want to have a home in your trading that you're using frequently, because much like a home that's not lived in, it tends to wear down and becomes dilapidated. You don't want your trading model to be that way. You only want what works and you're using. So that way you want something that's lean, not fluffed up. And that's unfortunately what many of the people come to me, they think, wow, look, look at all these videos ICT's made. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do with all this? Where do I start? Where do I start with all this? And I know it's a little intimidating, but I'm passionate about teaching everything I know. And everything I know takes time. And I want to build on, I don't want to half-ass anything. I'm not lazy, and I'm demanding my students not to be lazy. And unfortunately, lazy folks have very poor opinions of me because they don't have the wherewithal to do what's required to learn properly under me. But when you see how I really teach and how I actually trade and how my students are trading, all of those things, all those video series, all those episodes, if you will, they're introducing you a component, one cog in the machine. That cog might be in that video series, that particular video, that lecture, that moment where I say something and show something that's been a hindrance to you that you have not been able to go over and pass through in your understanding. Something happens and boom, you have an epiphany. Suddenly everything clicks and you know exactly what has been holding you up, and now you can move forward. That's what the purpose of all those lessons are for. They're for my children. It's a record for them in case something happens to me. They can hear me as their dad tell them, this is what I want you to do, son, daughter, grandchildren. These are things that I've learned and I think are going to be helpful to you if you adopt them. But I also state many times, and this is the trap that ICT content produces. Because I have so many weapons in my arsenal, so many rooms in my home, And the doorways, I have many doorways in the areas in my home. I have many doorways in my trading methodology. I have different strategies, which is a room in my home as trading, but I have multiple access points to those rooms. I don't have just one doorway. That's an entry technique. I can use a breaker. I can use an order block. I can use a fair value gap. I can use a mitigation block, institutional order flow entry drill. I can buy the stops or I can sell the stops. That's many ways to get into something. What's the purpose of that room? When I'm buying something, I'm going long. I've used some strategy of many. But once I'm in the trade, if I still have room to get to the other side of my home, which is that trading model, that's my terminus, that's my target. Okay, well, I can get to the other side of my house through different ways. And different ways would be like me pyramiding more entries based on what the market is presenting me. Not every trading price run is going to have a breaker in it. So if you're only looking to try to take trades that have a breaker, you have nothing to do. And you need to be comfortable with doing nothing because your model isn't telling you to do anything right now. Not thinking, well, Instagram guys are saying that they should be buying. So, I missed that move. What am I doing wrong? You're doing nothing wrong except for watching other people trying to do what they're doing because they're following their own model. Don't get tricked into thinking that influencers, even myself, don't think for a moment that I'm saying to you in any particular day when I'm doing something that that's the only way of doing it. It's not like that at all. And that's why it's important for you to spend time here and see different results by different students because they're all doing something different, using everything I taught. And many times they're going against a trade that I would be in and they're still profitable. How's that possible? How's that possible? If ICT is going long, the market has to bend to his will. But think about it. He's right all the time, right? That's what you're coming to me with. That's the false sense of security that you're adopting. And I'm trying to remind you and shake you and say, no, you're going to see me do it wrong. And it's okay. It's okay. There's no reason to be alarmed by being wrong. That's part of your model. In fact, we're going to talk about how you have to build in allowances for that. Because if you don't, you'll be ushered out of this industry expediently. Maybe not as politely as you'd probably hope, but that will be the end result if you don't master yourself. But don't try to apply everything that I teach. That's the problem. That's the problem. When people come to my content, they listen to my lectures and they see, okay, he's all over the place. Yeah. You go and you watch a painter. I don't paint. But if you're watching, there was a gentleman years and years ago, he's passed away now, Bob Ross. Okay. Guy was just chill, laid back. I used to turn, you like to sleep with me on your YouTube channel. Like if you want to go to sleep, put a long video on by ICT and I'll put you to sleep. It's a lullaby. Okay. I got no problem with that. I used to put Bob Ross on. When I couldn't sleep, I'd just watch him and happy little trees and he'd painting. I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, okay, he's painting. Most of the time, he's only using a fan brush or that small little detail brush or the big wide brush. There's three paint brushes he used predominantly most of the time. And I know some of you are like, what the hell is this ICT talking about? Bob Ross and painting. Think, this guy's a professional. He's got a blank canvas. That's what your chart looks like in the morning. The hard right edge, that is a blank canvas. And most of you are staring at that thing like a deer in headlights. You have no idea what the hell's about to happen. But a professional that understands price, we are expecting art. We're expecting a beautiful delivery. And we're going to engage based on what that chart does. And at the end of the day, our aim is to have a Picasso, something that we're proud of, that we engaged in. Bob Ross, the painter, he doesn't know if when he takes that brush and pushes it onto the canvas, he doesn't know for sure the delivery of that paint is going to be exactly how he's hoping it will be. That's why he has to make adjustments and tap, tap, tap all over the canvas and do more adjustments and make the thing come to fruition. And at the beginning, you have no idea what he's painting. You're confused. You're like, okay. And then suddenly he does a little bit more with just 3 paintbrushes. All of a sudden you see something. You see mountains, you see a lake, you see, whatever it is he had in his mind he wanted to paint. And at the end, you're like, wow, I didn't see that coming. It's beautiful. But he has all these other paintbrushes. But he goes to these certain tools, these certain 3 brushes over many of the other ones. But if he has a purpose for reaching for that other paintbrush to do a specific function, a small little detail, he wants to go in and highlight a certain area of a tree or a rock or the light reflecting off of the water. That's what a volume imbalance is for me. It's just another tool that I can utilize to justify holding on to a trade. If it's supporting price and I'm long, great. I'm looking for it to do that. It may go through it and come back above it and I'm bullish. And I want to see it now. Does it respect that volume imbalance again? Or for the first time? I'm looking at it. I'm reaching for a paintbrush that's not required for me to do the trade, but it's supporting the idea. I might not enter on the breaker. I'm waiting for a price run and a fair value gap or a institutional order flow. That's a paintbrush. It's going to be used if the opportunity presents itself. But I'm not going to the marketplace. I'm here, guys. I have all my breakers, all my mitigation blocks, I have my fair value gaps. I'm going to force all of this on this chart today. I'm going to press it all on there. You're going to have a mess. And that's unfortunately what neophyte traders or casual Netflix type ICT people that come here and just watch or listen to me and they think, okay, this stuff doesn't work because there was no breaker today. And look what the market did. Okay. Look what else it provided you an opportunity. I can get in the market after the market runs halfway. I can still go in those moves. I have tools for that. You're going to learn those things this year. And it won't be chasing price like everybody else will say. It's chasing price. You're not chasing price. If the move's going to move 50 handles and it's already moved 30, are you afraid to buy it still? I'm not. I'm not. A winning trade is a winning trade, and you don't know what that is yet. You don't know what you don't know. And once it runs up a lot, don't think it can't keep going. And there's rules that I'll teach you throughout this year. When should you not do it? And when should you risk it, but understand that there's a higher level of risk there that all needs to be managed. So what's your model going to be? What's the home that you're building? Are you a scalper, a day trader, a swing trader, a short-term trader, or a position trader? I'm not doing any of that decision making for you. You need to decide that. I teach day trading because I like day trading, but also as a teacher, it allows me a great deal of experience in a short period of time. You'll know right away if my stuff works because I have daily examples of it. I'm calling it on Twitter so you can see it in your charts real time, right when it's happening, and then watch it pan out. And it's fun, isn't it? It's really engaging. It's fun. This is what trading should have been for me when I first started, but I didn't have this. So I'm trying to be the Mr. Wizard. And for folks that are of the child of the 70s and 80s, you know who I'm talking about. But Mr. Wizard, he would do these little experiments with his kids on the TV show he was hosting, something scientific or whatever, and it'd be fun. I loved it. I'm trying to do that with you because I know if I show you where the market is right now and where it's going to go next, and you watch that thing unfold day after day, week after week, and it's very precise, you will be confident that you're in good hands. That's the major hurdle for me as a mentor. And that's the major hurdle for you when you're starting to learn how to do this because you're going to doubt everything. Think about it. When you go to buy a house and you work with a builder, you don't know if these people are going to do a good job. Sure, they might have references. Oh yeah, this person built this house. It's great. Okay, but they haven't built your house yet. So reviews and opinions by other people are going to influence you early on. And that's why I do what I do. I show you proof. This is precision. This is where it's going to go. This is why it's going to happen. So that way it will be able to be leaned on when the times come when you think that the lessons are not working for you, like you're not getting the results as quick as and as efficiently as you were hoping. Like you want to learn how to do this in 3 weeks. I'm telling you, you're not going to. It's gonna take you the full year. And some of you, it's going to require you to do the things I'm going to teach you and go into a little bit more of next year before you really get it. Some of you, it's been with me for a long time, that have been on the fence with wrestling with some of these things I've talked about thus far, and they've been a hindrance to you. You just don't know what it has been for you specifically. It's causing you not to get through that threshold that's needed for you to find consistency with it. You'll find probably the first month or two, it'll happen for you. And I've already seen it with my private students. When I was doing private mentorship, which I don't do, I'm doing mentorship openly now, so stop asking. the the students that were held up in their learning, just what I've been showing on Twitter, calling it live, tweeting out, this is what it is. This is go to that minute candle, watch it here, and it's going to go here. That alone, as simple as that was, it pushed some of them. Now they're funded. Now they're making money, and they've been with me since 2016, unprofitable. And now all of a sudden, just because of some tweets that I put out, real time, they see it now. Something happened, the veil was lifted, and they're able to understand what it is that they've been looking to do, but never really understood exactly what it is. And I'm not ringing in all the tools that's possible to be utilized that you hear me teach and talk about in certain videos. Like if you look at the trading plan series, that's a lot of videos. It's a lot of stuff in there. It's meant to take you through the process. Those videos in the order that I put them out, that's literally how I came to be Inner Circle Trader. It's been a whole social media experience for me to try to create another me doing the very things and presenting the very things that I came into understanding in the order that I came into my understanding with it. And I haven't seen one person do it yet, which, to me is interesting. I wanted to see if I could create that laboratory experiment where these are the ingredients and then boom, powder puff ICT, version 2 pops out. So I don't view it as a failure. It's been very interesting to watch what has transpired over the time me teaching this stuff. But you can't take that whole series, like the Trading Views development series, and think, okay, I know everything now. No, they were just ideas to start implementing and give you some kind of framework to study. And then another lesson comes, another idea, another specific element about price action and how you as a trader can engage. Where does that thing usually manifest in price action? What time of day, what day of week, what year? Yeah, there's yearly cycles. What seasonal tendency of a year is better than others for what certain type of price delivery? That's seasonal tendencies. They exist. They exist in stock market. They exist in commodities. I'm sure if crypto lasts long enough, you'll see seasonal tendencies manifest there as well. I don't have any horse in the race in that. So I keep my hands out of that cookie jar. But your model, you need to determine what that is. And I'm giving you the framework to try to do that this year. So you need to create that model independently and uniquely on your own wants and desires as a trader. Don't do what you see me doing. Because I've had students come to me and say, look, I can see what you taught last year on Twitter. I'm sorry, not on Twitter, but on YouTube. The 2020 model, the fair value gap, the shift in market structure. I can see it after the fact, but I just can't do it live. I can't see it happening. And they're frustrated. So they think there's no other way besides that one. That's not true. That's not true at all. There's other ways to trade. I'll show you them, but I'm going to try to work with the 2022 model predominantly and the slight variations in that model that you will see that you probably didn't notice from the lessons I gave you last year. But I've been trading a lot with that model intraday. Even after the moves start, I'm still using that model. You just can't recognize it yet because you're not familiar with it. That's all. That's all it is. It's a new language you haven't learned yet, and it takes time. And it's boring in the beginning. That's why I'm doing all these types of discussions because the students that are really here to learn, you're here listening and you're taking notes. The people that are going to be casual, they're not going to be profitable. They're not going to learn no matter how much I do live in front of them. As soon as I stop doing the commentaries, they'll never find a winning trade. That's who they're going to be. That's not who I'm talking to. I have a certain group of students that are hardcore. They really want to know what's going on and how to overcome themselves and learn how to read these markets like a book they've read 20, 30 times. You know the plot, you know the characters. You probably can say verbatim what the next line is going to be in the next paragraph because you've been here before. That's what experience does. And in the hands of a lay audience, when I show like what I've been doing with Twitter, it seems magical. But you're going to do the same thing. And don't be prideful about it. Don't build yourself up like you're something special because all I am is blessed. And I'm trying to share this life skill with you. And I want you to be responsible with it. So you have to define your trading model. So let's talk about defining that. What is the market you're going to trade? To keep it easy, to stop all the arguments, and also to keep my focus, which is important. It's important and it's imperative that you keep your focus when you're first learning. I'm choosing to trade only the Standard & Poor's 500, S&P. But I don't want to trade that. I don't care what you want to trade. I'm here teaching price action. Take these lessons and apply it to whatever market you want to trade after we get through this year because it all is the same. But I want to trade the Dow. You don't trade the Dow. I just said I'm only teaching price action through one medium, the S&P. If that doesn't fit your expectations, go somewhere else. I was fine before you came here. I'll be fine after, and I promise you, you'll be fine without me. You'll probably do something else and do very, very well. And I wish you the best of luck with it. But I'm not going to have it your way mentorship, okay? It's not going to be like that. I know how to do this. I know how to teach it, but I also know that to keep the questions to a minimum, to keep the distractions to me at a minimum, I'm only using one canvas. And I'm going to show you what little paintbrush selection you need to paint a Picasso. Now, I can't paint worth a shit, to be honest with you. I can't, I don't know how to do, I can draw very well, but I can't promise that every single time I sit in front of the charts with you, that it's going to be a Picasso every single time, because I'm going to fall victim to manipulation, manual intervention, and I'll tell you when it's likely to occur so that way you can see that sometimes you can forecast when it's going to happen. And or I will fall victim to it, and then you'll see me exactly as I teach you. Okay, we have now shifted to a period of time where it's not favorable for me to do this, and I'd be wasting my time doing what we're doing right now. And I'll close up shop and say, we'll resume on this session on this day. And you need to be prepared and be comfortable with that because you're going to do that same thing in your own trading. Just because you sit down in front of the charts, the market doesn't owe you shit. It doesn't owe you anything. It doesn't owe you your setup. It doesn't owe you your pattern. It doesn't owe you your R multiple that you're trying to get. And it doesn't owe you your fucking FTMO leaderboard position you're trying to aim for, or that your account is going to move over to some new stage, like you pass the funded account. Like it doesn't owe you that. That's a major hurdle for new traders. Nobody owes you anything. You have to work your ass off for it. You have to earn it. And it's not going to be easy. And when you think you accepted the fact that it's going to be harder than you probably thought it was, then when you're met with the reality that it's really harder than you thought it was going to be, that separates you from traders that are going to be here and endure it. Because if you give yourself enough time, you'll find consistency. And consistency and profitably consistent isn't mean every day profitable. But your model has to define what sound logic you're going to adopt. So you have to start with one market. I'm forcing all of you. Don't ask me about Eurodollar. I'll talk about it in daily commentaries on a daily chart. I'll tell you where I think it's going to go. That's the draw on liquidity. I think that's where it's going to likely go. You have to use everything I've already taught to submit to, does it reach there? I'm probably gonna be right. I'm probably gonna be wrong. I don't care. My focus is predominantly in ES. And you only need one market. You only need one market. Because if you know what you're doing and you're trading well with sound logic and read price action correctly, your attention is dialed in, laser precision. You're not distracted by anything else. I don't care what Bitcoin's doing. I don't care what crude oil is doing. I don't care what the British pound's done. I don't care. I sure as fuck don't care what yen's doing. So all those things are a distraction to me. I don't care about those things. I don't care what that other guy on YouTube's doing. I don't care. This new book just came out. They're all things that's going to distract me. I have an agenda that I have to follow this year, and I have to be disciplined. And it may sound like I'm all over the place, but I'm literally reading bullet points. So I'm on focus. I'm not down rabbit holes. I know exactly where I'm going, and I know where we're going as we get through this discussion. But if you're already feeling uncomfortable, I guarantee you, you're not going to do well here. If you're impatient, get to it. Get to it, Michael. Like Tom Hogard, I reached out to him the other day. A lot of you have said, "Hey, you know, have you seen Tom?" I messaged him in private. I said, "Yeah, a lot of my students have mentioned you, and unfortunately, with all due respect, I've never heard of you before, but I've watched a couple of his videos over the last week or so, and I just ordered his book, so I'll be taking that and digesting it when I get it. But I believe he was referring to me in the 26th presentation. He does like a commentary over the charts, much in the same way I do with Twitter, but he's doing it like I think audibly, sharing it live, and he mentioned that I do tend to be long-winded, and he's like, okay, get with it, get to where you're going. Unfortunately, that is something I try to overcome because I want to make sure I'm efficient, but I care more about making sure I am satisfied with the level of content that I'm producing. I don't really care if people think I'm long-winded because they're not going to say, well, that was a half-assed approach to teaching something. I know what I'm saying matters because you're going to refer to these things I'm talking about at a later time. And then you're going to go back and listen to a video and listen to a lecture and say, damn it, he said that shit and I didn't pay attention to it and now I'm dealing with it. If I just would have listened to it, had it in my notes and referred to it, have it in the forefront of my mind going in, these are hurdles. This is someone that's been doing it for 30 years. I lost a lot of fucking money, folks. I lost a lot of money doing stupid shit. Do you want to go through it too to learn the lesson? I mean, think about it. Do you want to learn that way? And because that's what everybody else does. All I'm trying to be is a conduit so that way you don't do those things. I'm not promising you're going to get rich. I'm promising you're going to work your ass off. But you do the things I'm telling you to do, you could be seeing what these young men and women are doing all around the world right now with real money. And that's undeniable. And I'm not hand-holding them. So you have to have your focus and you have to tolerate being taught correctly. And when you go to college and you listen to these people, and they may be up there teaching, and may never have ever done anything in the field that they're doing, they're lecturing and teaching on. How many fights do these boxers and their trainers, how many trainers have those fight managers, those trainers, how many world titles did they hold? There's an argument that's being constantly perpetuated that if you teach, you can't do. I'm proving I can do. I'm asking you to be responsible as a student and filter out all the bullshit. Because you're going to see if I know what I'm talking about right away, if you haven't already noticed. But your limitation and distractions, I'm managing that. I'm also managing my own as a human being. I'm not AI, I'm a real person. I'm easily distracted. I'm easily pissed off. I can fly off, well, you're now hearing it, right? That's the mood shifts that I have to wrestle with all the time. And in the marketplace, you'll have that. You won't see that manifest in me doing live sessions. You'll never see me go off the rails over the charts. That is absolutely when I'm 100% disciplined. That took 30 years to get that. You're never going to hear me, oh, this son of a bitch. That's never going to happen. I don't look at a result that's adverse in the marketplace, whether I'm in a trade live or when I'm in front of you, calling it and it does something else. You're never going to hear me go, oh, for fuck's sake. That doesn't happen because I know me, I know my model, and I know that what I'm doing will repeat. So there's no fucking reason for me or you to get into an emotional response to what the market's doing. There's absolutely no reason for that. None. Because as soon as you do that, as soon as you do it, you have now recorded in the annals of history in terms of you as a trader internally, that's a bad experience. And you're going to do everything in your power to avoid that again. That means what? Pushing the button. You're going to, man, I don't want to take another loss today. I'm down 5% because I didn't listen to sound logic and say two losers and stop. So I'm managing at my best. These are the things I've thought about this over the holiday break. How am I going to manage all of you? How am I going to manage all your personality flaws and characters that are impulsive? With a clean conscience, I'm doing everything I can, but you still have the responsibility of not pushing a button while you're learning how to do this. The worst thing that can happen is if I get up there and I call something that I believe firmly that the market's likely to do, and it doesn't deliver, and you push the button you got a live trade on, you're going to determine that as that's the reason why it doesn't work. And I shouldn't learn from Michael. I shouldn't even worry about this stuff. I need to go out there and start trading and supply and demand. Elliott wave or whatever else that catches your eye. And that would be unfortunate because one trade, one transaction, 1 week, 1 month is not a narrative for success or failure. But as a new student, a new trader in development, it's easy to establish rather an opinion based on not enough evidence. Because you're going into this with a great deal of skepticism, and it's healthy. That's normal, and I'm encouraging you to be that way. I want you to be that way. I don't want you to believe me because I fucking make a video and record myself doing it. I want you to sit with me and watch me talk about every 1 minute candle, because every single one of those candles, even as small as that is, that 1 minute candle has a storyline. It's telling you something. You need to be understanding real time when I'm not going to be doing this. By experience, you've seen it, you've walked it before. You've been down this road before. You know where that Rottweiler is. You know in the hole in the fence, if you get too fucking close to it, it's going to rip your ass apart. So that way you had experience, right? So that way you walk down there, you know, I'm going to cross the other side of the road. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're scared. It just means that's stupid. I'm not walking over here and tearing up this fucking nice shirt I'm wearing. I'm not tearing up my clothes. I'm not getting all tore up. That's experience. But some of you just want to walk down the road and get your ass tore up and say, "Yeah, I did it too, ICT." You know, look at like the scene from Jaws. Everybody's showing their scars. Or this is the wound I got. Well, look at this one. I got one better than you. Trying to keep up with the Joneses. Fuck the Joneses. Carl Jones is the person you're trying to avoid. You don't want to be friends with him. If there's a Carl Jones listening, it's just fiction. It's just for comedic relief here. Carl's always trying to get the employee of the week. That's the person that's always trying to one up somebody. Okay, that's the person you don't want to be in trading. The guy that does something better, the guy that knows something more, has more experience, has this. You don't want to do that. Okay, nobody gives a shit about that, and that shouldn't be your motivation by learning. So I'm managing all these types of things that I've had endured over the years as a mentor, and I'm forcing all of you to look at one market. And I know that it's going to alienate some of you. And I'm asking you to be considerate to the idea that I am doing my best to teach you price. The things that I'm going to show you in this one market, they occur in Forex. So if you're only going to be a Forex trader and you can't trade futures, that's fine. This stuff works there too. If Bob Ross was painting on somebody else's canvas with somebody else's brushes, he'd still be able to paint the way he can paint. I'm teaching you how to paint in these charts. That way you can see these things pan out and work with them. It matters not what the instrument is. Some of you may like, oh, I'm going to be trading crypto and I'm going to be using it. Okay, I'm not co-signing that. But if that's where you're going with it, that's on you. I don't have any experience in it. That's why I don't talk about crypto. That's why I don't trade it. I'm never, ever going to get up there on a live stream and say, this is what, no, I'm not doing that. That's not my forte. My forte is futures. That's where I started in 1992. And then I segued into Forex. Forex right now, look at this week. For some of you that are arguing and you're angry at me right now, you're cussing me right now. This son of a bitch, ICT. You said you was gonna, I said I was gonna do analysis every day, Monday through Friday on Forex. Yes, I did say that. I did not say I was gonna sit down in front of you and call the shots on Forex every single day. I didn't say that. I said I was gonna do that with the stock index market. Yes, that's what I'm selling in on. You'll see NASDAQ come in where it's useful, but I'm gonna only talk about the setups in E-mini S&P. Why? Why are you holding back from us, ICT? I'm not. I'm giving you every advantage of doing everything the right fucking way, and you just gotta trust me on it. Trust me. That's all I'm asking you to do. You didn't send me a PayPal payment. You didn't swipe any fucking credit cards with me. I'm sitting here on my weekend pouring myself into you. I'm never gonna meet you. You're not gonna shake my hand. We're not gonna have dinner. You're not gonna be introduced to my wife. My kids are not gonna spend time with you. I'm showing you the greatest consideration that anybody else would do for free. Don't come to me and say, fuck you, ICT. You're not doing it the way I want. Go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. You want to learn how to make a lot of fucking money? Show up every day. You want to learn how to control yourself in the markets? Show up every day. You want to learn how to manage drawdown and come out of it? Show up every day. How to avoid when the trades are not likely to pan out? Show up every day. But I'm only going to be able to teach that effectively with one market. Look at Forex. I've told you what I believe was going to happen. I told you exactly what I expected to see happen in dollar index and euro and cable. I've only been partially correct. Now contrast that with the laser guided fucking precision that you've been seeing me do with ES daily since the beginning of the year. And you're going to ask me, why am I not talking about Forex? Is there not a better picture been explained than that? If I know if my personal precision is going to be off, if I know that I'm going to have adversity in trading an instrument, why the hell would I go in there and try to trade with money? Why would I do that? And why the hell would I want to do it publicly in front of you, right? That's stupid. That's asinine. But I understand that your infancy coming to me, you haven't been doing it long enough. You think that I should be pulling signals out of my ass with euro dollar and pound dollar every 5 fucking seconds. And that's not how it works. That's not how this works, folks. There has to be a reason to do it. There has to be a reason to be expecting high probability conditions. And if you don't have a way of defining what that is, or knowing what it is, having experience engaging in price with that, then it comes to the surprise that you have people saying, well, I'm disappointed because you're not doing Forex. I'm thankful I'm not trading Forex right now. I would be frustrated right now because the market is shit in Forex right now. Compare it with what I've been showing you in the E-mini S&P. That's beautiful price action, folks. That's exactly what the fuck you're looking for, but you don't recognize it yet. You don't even know what you're looking at. That's exactly what you're looking for as a trader. A trader sees this market and it says, it's going to go up to this level, and it's going to come down to this level. It should respect this level, and it should go here next. Not all over the fucking place, chopping this wild price swings. That means nothing. But you're going to see these jokers on social media showing their 25 executions on MT4 in the same instrument with $27,000 supposed profit next to it. Those people aren't on the FDMO board. So why the fuck are they messing around there? If you can do that, do it on those funded accounts and do there. But that's the shit you fall victim to. You like that stuff. You want to see that shit because you think that because it makes you feel cool. Like, man, if I could do that, man, I would be respected by people online that don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you. So you're trying to chase things that are not going to deliver what you really want. I don't give a fuck who likes me, who believes me. I don't care. I'm doing what I want to do because I like doing it. I'm living my life. I'm in my own fucking lane. As a trader, that's what I'm trying to do. And when you do this and you're trying to make money, that's all you're doing it for. That's it. If you're doing this for any other reason but to make money, you're fucking off. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it absolutely incorrect. Because if you're doing it for other things like pride, ego, status, clout, guess what that's going to do? It's going to invite you into trying to perform better than somebody else that has the hot hand right now. And right now I have the hot hand. And then you see all these other people that are coming at me because they're insignificant. They're not happy in their home. Because if they were happy in their home, they would still just be doing what the fuck they're doing, and people would recognize that and appreciate that. Hey, you know what? You're not getting caught up in all that drama bullshit. You're still just delivering. You know what up? That's why I tapped that guy, Patrick Wyland. Once in a while, he talks his shit. You know, he's a character, and that's cool. I can appreciate that. I'm the same way. It kind of breaks up the monotony. But when it comes time to push the button, the man's pushing it, and he's showing that he makes money. Not every day. I've seen him, give up some losses here and there. I'm gonna give up some wins, but he's pushing it every day in front of people that sometimes are talking shit. I can't do that because it's a distraction. I want to smack them in the face with a sledgehammer when I see shit like that. I want to show them they do nothing. But if I do that, it's taking my attention from where? The charts. So that's why when you see me doing live sessions, I'm not going to have the chat window open. I could give two fucks what your opinion of me is. I'm literally reading the tape. That's it. Okay. And when I'm done this year, you can criticize me and write all the reviews and talk all the bullshit you want to talk about me, but you're not going to change the fact that these motherfuckers all around the world are making money now. And they did the work. They showed up every day. So back to my list. So you need to know what market you're following. I'm forcing the S&P as the teaching medium, understanding that everything in that is going to be applicable to everything else. And what style of trading? I'm forcing day trading in the morning session. I'm forcing that on you. Well, I don't want to do that. It doesn't matter because the same things I'm teaching you, I'm going to teach you how to apply to every other time frame, every other style of trading. I'm not going to effectively be able to teach you long-term position trading. Think about it. Like, okay, here's the daily chart. We're going to take a long here, the stop here, and we're expecting it to go to. How long is that going to take? Who the fuck knows? I don't know. I don't have time. You're gonna wait to the next video update for that? Hell no, you're not. Some of you are chomping at the bit. You're constantly looking at Twitter. Do I have my notifications on? Because I know ICT should be talking some shit right now. You're already wired. You're already hardwired to do what I'm training you to do. So roll with it. So the morning session, we're gonna be focusing on that. So what time frame are you gonna trade in? What's your model gonna be? I'm forcing you to use the weekly expansion. In other words, I'm gonna walk through and I'm gonna constantly remind you each time we do a session what the weekly expansion is. So that sets the tone for where's the largest magnitude of volatility, in what direction, likely to be. It doesn't mean that there isn't going to be moves that go against that throughout the course of the week. It just means that I want to be where the gunpowder is. Like I want to be in there putting in trades when it's likely to go to fuck off and just run explosively. So when I'm sitting on the weekend, like I'll do tonight, once I'm done doing my fatherly and husbandly things with my family, and when they go to sleep, then I resign myself to my office and then I pour over my charts and I'm looking at specifically the weekly chart. And I spend more time on that weekly chart than I spend on any other time frame. What the hell did you just say? Dude, we don't ever see you talk about a weekly chart. We only see these 1 minute 1 minute candlesticks. Right. And that's what I'm talking about. See, you only see the result of 30 years experience being shown to you real time. But you aren't there when I'm putting in the time over the charts, studying and looking for the things and weighing out things with my own personal experience, logging and journaling in my own journals. All those things, that's what gets me or has allowed me to reach the level of precision that you see me doing. And it didn't happen overnight. It wasn't a quick thing, and it's not going to be quick for you. And I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. I'm telling you up front. I tell you every time in these videos, you're going to fucking lose money. It's going to be harder than you want it to be. It's going to be easy to want to quit, but you have to dig your heels in and just show up. You have to show up. Because when you start trading with real money, should you ever decide to do that, you're going to have times when you start going in drawdown, you're going to lose. And you need to make decisions, and they need to be rooted in sound logic. What's the next step if you go into drawdown? Another trade, same risk, more risk, no stop loss. You have to have rules. You have to have a process to manage yourself, because unless you manage you, it's over. It doesn't matter what system you're using. It doesn't matter who your guru mentor is. It doesn't matter if ICT can turn other people into profitable students. If you fuck up and you go off the rails and you don't follow the processes and the rules I'm going to lay down for you, you're going to blow it. And who's going to get the fault for that? You know you're going to blame me. You're going to blame me. But everybody else that's making money and has found consistency are just going to be saying, no, you're full of shit. So you're not even going to get the outcome you want there either. That's why when I push this in the videos, and I talk about it in these lectures, okay, these are the parts where you got the message, you understand, but there's a lot of you that don't. And I am not going to be guilty of not at least pushing the idea that this is risky shit. I'm not oblivious to that, but some of you are. And I need to make sure that you understand, if you do things half-ass, you're going to get your ass handed to you. That's the way it works in this business. You can't sugarcoat it. You can't. I can't, as a teacher, as a mentor, I can't do that. It would be unethical. It would be irresponsible for me to sit here and try to make it sound like everybody walks in here and we all get rich. Man, if it was like that, I would love it. It would be great. But unfortunately, the reality is that's not true. You're going to have to work really hard for this. So you need to decide what time frame you're going to trade. And on that weekly chart, I do my top down, and then I get myself to a point where inside of a specific element of time in the day, I'm looking for 1 and 5 minute entry techniques to deliver on a 15 or an hourly framework. So that's why I can take a trade that, even though it's on a 1 minute chart, I'm getting 5 to 1, 10 to 1, 12 to 1 R multiples on a 1 minute candlestick chart. That's it. Very, very small risk. Now, don't fall in love with the small risk, because I'm going to teach you how to be responsible and not try to get these really, really small stop losses in the beginning. You will learn that this year. But in the beginning, it's irresponsible of me to try to paint this, watch, I'm going to get you in here and we're going to use 2-handle stop losses. I'm going to show you how you can do that, but be responsible in your expectations going forward. Because in the beginning, I'm not doing a crash course on laser guided precision with ultra slim stop losses and mega R multiple profits. I'm not promising you that. I'm showing you how to read the tape. You're going to be able to find one good setup per week. That's my guarantee. One good setup. But that's not getting me rich, Michael. If you take that one concept and apply it and multiply it over and over and over again and use sound money management, that same pattern exists each day. But you have to discover what it means to be disciplined and say, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I need to control myself. I need to pace myself and not expect to be able to do this every single day as a neophyte. A neophyte comes in with a great deal of fear of failure. How do you conquer that fear? Do what you're supposed to do one time for the week and stop, and then just observe the rest of the week and see how many times you would have got it wrong after that, but safely on the sidelines without committing anything with your demo account. Oh, you're talking about demo. You need to learn in a controlled environment. You cannot learn this risking real money. You can't. You cannot. I don't give a fuck who tells you. I don't give a fuck how much money they made and they're trying to teach you that. I don't give a fuck. Because as soon as you equate the outcome of an experiment or a laboratory study or case study in price action, it only is favorable if it makes you money. If you're learning like that in the beginning, you are training yourself, you're teaching yourself to worry about the outcome monetarily. When the whole function should be, is the market delivering price exactly as I'm expecting it to do? Because once you place the protective stop loss on, and you have already mapped out where your partials are going to go and where your terminus, where the end result is, the goal of your trade, I don't give a fuck what the outcome is in terms of money. When I'm doing my partials, I don't have it calculated. I'm going to make this much on that first partial. I'm going to take that. I'm not doing all that math. I'm looking at the chart. The chart says this is what the price run's likely to do now. Where's my stop? This is where my stop's going to go. Okay. How much is it in terms of the full range? I'm looking for a minimum of 10 handles. If it can't offer me 10 handles, I don't give a shit about that move. Why? Because I'm teaching you. Not that I can't go in there and find 3 handles. Like every 15 minutes, I can pull out 3 handles. You want to see me do it this year? I will. The point is, I'm teaching you, that person that doesn't have any experience. I'm showing you how to go in, be comfortable, not be scared, not have anxiety about what the hell you're doing or what's going to happen. They're going to stop me out. There's certain segments of the time in intraday price action on the daily range where factors are very favorable for you to go in and manage risk responsibly and have a reasonable expectation that the market will likely do a specific thing. That's why I teach the way I do, because it's algorithmic. These things should manifest themselves in price. And if they don't, it's good for you to be out of it, be stopped out, and be done. Go to the next session or don't trade the rest of the day. And some of you already are communicating that you don't even have the discipline to not pull the trigger when I'm calling these moves now because you're trying to make money and you're doing it wrong. You're absolutely fucking doing it wrong. And at the end of the year, when I'm no longer doing this and you didn't learn what you should have learned, you're going to be back at square one, scared shitless because you're going to do a couple trades on your own. They won't pan out. And you're going to think, oh, they changed the algorithm. ICT shit's finally been mainstream. Now it's the new retail. It's not going to be the fucking new retail. I'm teaching you the market. I'm teaching you how the market's book price. It is what it is. It isn't going to fucking change. It's not going to diminish. It's not going to, if anything, it's going to get better. As technology becomes more advanced, the precision elements, the static bullshit that you see in certain times of the day, that's going to go away. And it's going to be smoother. I'm excited about the fucking future. I'm not scared that it's going to stop. But I understand how it feels. You found the goose that lays golden eggs and you just don't want it to die. Listen, even when ICT's gone on to greener pastures, this shit's still going to be working. And I'm going to be echoing in your mind every week, every day, and it won't stop. When are you going to stop trading? Your model has to have that. You have to know, when are you going to pull the plug and say, okay, I've lost enough today. And it might be just one trade. That's your threshold. That's it. I'm done. I'm not going to allow myself to go into a period of mental drawdown, which is much more expensive than financial drawdown, because financial drawdown is finite. It's limited to what it is. But when you have a losing trade or a series of losing trades, how many times does that fucker haunt you? I can tell you and think about things that I endured in the 90s, that just the mere mention of them or reading that journal causes me to have anxiety because I can relive that moment. That's why journaling is important, because it takes you right back to that moment, right then and there, and you can relive it. It's not like these jokers on the social media. I'm going to tell you a trade I took today. I think I got in over here. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. If you took a trade, you're going to show us where the fuck your trade entry was. You're not going to think, I think I was around here. I think I did, I don't know how many contracts. Get the fuck out of here. But you're wasting your time listening to these people. You're listening to these jokers. You need to know when to stop. Stop listening to ICT. You've watched enough videos for today. When are you going to stop your trading? When you make money, Are you stopping? No, no, no. No, 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 no. We can't do that. Shit. We still got the afternoon session. I'm at 5Gs, baby. 5Gs. It's the easiest fucking money I've ever made in my life. I'm going to double it. Oh, I can't wait until 1:30, 2 o'clock. ICT said that the next move happens then. And I'm going all in, Texas fucking Hold'em, ES style. We're going all in. And you get fucked on the turn. River card, your history. See you later. Because you don't have limitations. You don't know when to stop. When's a good thing enough? That's why I presented that series, Ends. If you've listened to me and you've adopted this mindset, you're going to get rich real quick. That is unfortunate, because I want you to first master yourself. And it's going to take you a year and a half, 2 years, really, to do that. It ain't this 30 days to replace a bad habit. Fuck that. Let me tell you something. If it was that easy, I would have been a whole lot better sooner. This is something totally different. You have never done anything like this, ever, ever. Because as much as other people may troll me because I don't do what they want me to do, dance for them the way they want me to dance, to the tune they want to play, fuck them. You do what I do. That's all I'm asking you to do. And it costs you nothing. All you got to do is put your calls out there live, where it should go, where it shouldn't go. But you have to know where your limitations are. Stop. You make money? What's enough? What is your rent payment? What is your mortgage payment each month? That's where you should be focusing. If I could just get half of that a month. Listen, folks, nobody's writing a fucking book about this. Nobody's going to do a teaching series like that. I did. And you wonder why this industry's plagued with so many failures. Because your expectations are too high. You want Olympic gold results on every fucking trade. And that's not realistic, folks. And you expect it to be daily. And that's not realistic either. The flavor of the month right now is, I want to make $100,000 a month. Well, that's certainly commendable if you can obtain that. But is it realistic for me as an educator or you as a new student to think that you can walk out here in your first year doing that? I never do that kind of fucking shit. I don't ever promote some unrealistic threshold that you should strive for. 6% a month is going to be hard for you in the beginning. So what happens if you only make 1% a month? Is that failure? Fuck no. Some of you don't know math. Like you lose sight, like you forget rudimentary math. You're all wanting to get these funded accounts. I want to be funded to 150,000. Unless it's 150,000, it's not worth my time. Are you out of your fucking mind? Like if you literally had any equity, you can trade micro and build that up. It's going to take you more time. I'm not going to argue that. It's going to take you more time. But it doesn't matter if you only get a $10,000 funded account. If that's what you get, that's what you get. You can work with that. And don't fall into, I'm $2 million funded. Okay. It's become a measuring contest. Like we're all pulling our dicks out to see who's got the longest one. I'm going to sit over here in my lane and say, none of you motherfuckers are going to be as precise as me. So measure up. I don't need to be on anybody's leaderboard. I don't need to do any of that stuff. So don't get caught up in all that. You're here to learn how to make money. That's it. That is it. There's nothing else to this industry except for that. And have fun doing it. Control risk and have fun doing it. Be passionate about it. But you also have to know where you're going to pull the plug and say, I'm done. I've made enough for today. I fulfilled my objective. You have to have goals. There's people out there going to say, don't fucking have goals. Have goals. You have to know what it's likely to reach for, because here's what's going to happen if you don't. You're going to be impulsive. You're going to chase price. You're going to react to price instead of anticipating price. I can't fucking stand it. I can't fucking stand it when I see and hear people say, don't have goals or expectations in the marketplace where it's going to go. How the fuck are you going to fucking trade? How are you going to fucking trade? Seriously. You're going to put a trade on and not have an expectation where it's going to go? How the fuck does that even make sense? Don't have goals. You got to know where it's going. What conviction are you placing behind the idea that you're incurring risk on if you don't have a fucking goal? If you don't know where the market's going to go next, reasonably, how could you possibly expect to be profitable? You might as well just flip a fucking quarter. Heads you're buying, tails you're selling, right? Some of you newer folks like, this guy just lost his fucking mind. No, I'm absolutely passionate about what I'm doing and what I'm teaching, and I see this nonsensical bullshit promoted online. It should be fucking criminal. You should be fucking penalized for shit like that. How else could you possibly measure progress, understanding, and learning if you don't know where the market's going to go next? Why are you pushing that fucking button? Why are you inviting monetary loss, emotional distress, stress, anxiety? You're inviting that on the basis of what? A fucking indicator that said it's overbought? Who says it's fucking overbought? That squiggly ass fucking line only crunched numbers back 14 bars. Who gives a fuck? 14 bars on a weekly range is nothing. When the market's going to reprice higher on a level that's established on a weekly time frame, your overbought and bearish divergences aren't going to mean shit. It's just going to keep repricing, and you're going to get mad. But my indicator, but my teacher said, this indicator said it's going to go down. The divergence is there. Fuck that divergence. It's not there. You're right. It's not there. The algorithm doesn't give a fuck about that indicator. It doesn't even realize it's even there. It's not calculating anything on your indicator bullshit. Your harmonic fucking triangles and bullshit you lay over top your charts. None of that shit matters. None of it. So you have to know when you're going to do a full stop. Pull out all the stops, you're done for the day. You're done listening to ICT. You're done listening to the bullshit. You're done trading. You have to have limitations and thresholds that you're not going to cross. That discipline has to be forged early on and continuously honed in this lifestyle, because it's easy to get caught up in the mania, thinking you know more than you really did. I fell victim to that as a 20-year-old. I thought I had everything fucking figured out. And then the market showed me I knew shit. Fuck all. I knew nothing. And I arm wrestled it. Oh, yeah? You want to blow that account? Well, watch what I do with this fucking account. Oh, yeah, you did great. You just fucking lost that one twice as fast. Beautifully done. Let's see if you can do it again. And I did. Did it deter me? Fuck no. Because if they took it from me, that means that they made that money. And I was going to be on that side. That's the side of the game I was going to be on. So when you lose, do you take that as a personal defeat and you're like, fuck, I'm going to end up quitting this soon? I don't. I'm like, okay, that was a good move on the chessboard, but I still have pieces. I'm taking your shit. That's the way I think. That's the way I think about this. Every move on a chessboard, sometimes you're going to lose a piece. That's just the way it is. But as long as you still have pieces on the chessboard, the game's still on. But many of you don't regard the level of risk. And you think, okay, well, I lost a little bit there. My daily max loss is, I'm only halfway there. I just can't go home with a losing trade. I got to get it back. Let me just go in there and try to do it one more time. I won't use a stop loss this time because I'll be worried about getting stopped out if I put a stop loss. So therefore, let me go in there and just do it without stop loss, and I'll do it with 3 times the leverage I just lost on, because then I only need a small little piece. I don't even have to be much correct in terms of where it's going to go now, because I'm doing 3 times the leverage. And then you shit yourself. Your maximum loss is hit, you lost your funded account, or you blew your account. What are you going to feel like when that happens? That's a hard pill to swallow because it's completely avoidable. As soon as you think that you got to fix it, okay, listen to me. I picked up a rule from Larry Williams as a younger man. It really is so true. When I was coming up as a trader in my 20s, in 1993, when I was going in with a little bit more understanding, but still knowing nothing, I felt that every time when I was right and I was in positions that were making profit, and they were unrealized profits, but they were in positions that were paying me, my increase would be gone, and I was holding them overnight. So I was trying to be a swing trader then. I wasn't day trading initially. So I'd put a trade on, and I'd have to wait in agony all day long while I was working, worrying about every fluctuation of price, and I'm panicking all day long, constant panic. It's going to turn on me. It's going to turn on me. It's going to turn on me. No, I had no idea what I was doing. When I was making money, then I hadn't closed the trade yet. As soon as I grabbed my calculator, and on the road when I was delivering candy and soda machines and stuff, that's what I was doing at the time. I had a little Casio calculator watch. Back then, it was a big deal. And I would pull up on the calculator, okay, I got this many contracts, and if it goes here, I'm already showing the early signs of I should be getting out right now. And Larry Williams in 1995 made a course, and you hear me talk about this a lot, but it absolutely is true. He says you get this King Kong feeling, like you got it all figured out, and you're going to make so much more money. You don't stick to your trade goal. Now it's become a long-term position trade. You're gonna hold on to this thing for a year now. Originally, it was just going to be like a 4-day trade. Now it's a long-term position IRA trade. Okay, you're going to retire on this one, and you think you're going to be making so much more money, and you start calculating all this shit. If it goes up 2 more cents, man, wheat's going to kill it for me. I'm going to crush it. That's the very moment. That's the very moment, that King Kong feeling, that moment. That is the surest sign that you should close your fucking trade and be happy with it. And a lot of that is how I do my targets today. So when I'm in a move, I know what it should do. If it's a perfect centerfold trade, it should do this level. And then what I do now is I cope with this desire to be perfect by saying, if I just get 80% of the move, and I do that consistently more times than I lose, I have trained myself to accept that as above average, which it is. But to me, I wrestle with that. In my mind, in my subconscious, I'm constantly trying to manifest perfection. In my entries and my approach to getting into a move, you're going to see that signature is there because I worked very hard to overcome fear, which is what my son Cameron has now. He wants to trade. He wants to do well. He wants to impress dad. But I'm trying to tell him, you don't impress me. You make fucking money. You follow the rules and you make money. You control risk and you make money. That's it. But I was afraid in the beginning of taking trades. I was afraid to get in. I just was scared. I learned how to be a futures trader, I thought. And with no experience, I went into options and lost my fucking ass in the first trade overnight. So impulsiveness, knowing where the stops are, where's the thresholds for you? Are you going to be influenced by greed? Are you going to allow greed to be a factor in your decision-making process? You have to say when you're going to stop. When are you going to say no more, whether it be profitable whether it be studying, whether it be taking a loss. You have to place those limitations in, and you have to stick to them. That's forging discipline. If you don't do that, your broker's not going to do it for you. I can't do it for you. Your trading partner in life, they're not going to do it for you. You have to be responsible with that. And how much are you going to risk? This is the part that everybody loses their ass on. They think that, they can take big risks to fix their problems in their drawdown. And then all of a sudden it makes it worse and compounds it. And they blow their account, lose their funded account, and it wrecks them emotionally, psychologically. And that barrier is a long-term loss. That's